We now move to a story very connected to the one that we just talked about, unfortunately. But the white nationalist Nick Fuentes, who just recently appeared on Tucker Carlson's podcast, they had dinner together. They were really friendly. And Tucker decided, I'm not going to press Nick on any of the things that he's said that have caused him to be opposed by so many people. So many people are disgusted with much of what he said because he said some really disgusting things. I'll give you an example of that in a second. But Tucker decided, not really going to ask about much of that. Instead, I'll just have a little patty cake session with him. And that's mostly what happened. But what's confusing about Nick, who again is, for viewers just jumping into this segment, is really garnering a lot of attention and a lot of support now within the extreme right wing, is you never know when he's going to seemingly cozy up to someone and then leave his interaction like with Candace and be like, you know what, never mind, I flip it, that person's still terrible. So the background with Tucker is that Tucker did a podcast with Candace and said, oh, this weird little gay kid from, Nick obviously doesn't identify as gay, but from Chicago, this weird little Fed, he's a Fed operative. And further the idea that the reason Nick is getting attention is because it's an op to make the right look bad. Much like January 6th, according to Tucker, which is if you get him out there saying, getting attention, getting support, and then going like, hey, and Hitler's kind of cool, then that can make the right look more extreme than it is. That's Tucker's argument. And so then because Tucker said that, then Nick went on this whole thing against him saying, actually, Tucker's the Fed. Tucker's the one who's being controlled by intelligence organizations. And then they had this interview. You remember this? Look at that. Just look at a beautiful panorama of our studio there. And it was very friendly.
Nick Fuentes, thank you for doing this.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
I wanted to meet you. I've heard about you.
I've heard about you.
So, well, thank you. I want to understand what you believe, and I want to get...
And then it was just 2 hours of talking about every little thing, but not really confronting him, except for in a very minor way here and there. Let's see about this part.
If Dave Rubin called me tonight, which he would never do, though he has my cell, and said, I'm really sorry I called you Hitler, like I didn't mean it. You're raising lots of legitimate questions, which I think...
By the way, I'm just giving you the context, and then I'm going to show you what now Nick's flipped and is saying about Tucker. And it's honestly just really fun to watch. It's really fun to watch that now the two of them are back at going at each other. Tucker hasn't responded yet, but now we're back to Tucker's the Fed. And even, think about this, even Nick, despite everything Tucker's done to cozy up to his ideology, thinks Tucker's a creep. Which is wild. Like, Tucker's bringing on these people. We've covered, of course, him saying, or bringing on a guest who would say, I think Churchill was the chief villain of World War II, not Hitler. And Tucker's really trying to get into the good graces of the Fuentes world. And still, Nick is like, I don't know. He just seems like kind of a sociopath. It's like, oh my gosh. Everyone sees it, apparently.
I sort of agree with or am thinking about in a deeper way. I'd be like, great.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care.
And look, Tucker, that's why I'm sitting here,
Right.
I mean, because we had a contentious dialogue.
Well, I thought you were a Fed.
I thought you were a Fed.
I was a Fed.
Yeah.
I'm not a Fed. But whatever, I don't care what people think.
We showed each other a badge, as we know well.
No, but I thought you were a Fed because I was like, why not? It's not cucking to say.
Okay. I don't even want to. Okay. Wait, but I wanted to show you this one. And then we'll go.
What is porn exactly? Like, describe
what porn is in detail, please. Like with his gay podcast where he was like, I don't want to know, but like, tell me about gay. Like, really I hate that I need to ask this. I'm not even interested in this topic. I just really want you to tell me, and then I want you to tell me it's not real. It's fake. And the liberals are just tricking us with it. And making us feel this way. It's so sick. So, the demon, oh my gosh. The demon. It wasn't his dogs. It was someone at a gas station. I just figured it out. The demon wasn't his dogs, and it wasn't a demon, but he calls it that because he's thinking, why did Nick make me feel this way, and why did we do that to each other? He must have been a demon, and then we made love. You get it. I don't know why I had to finish the thought. Everyone got it. Just wanted you to know exactly what my joke was. Okay, so now you have Nick after that friendly interview. They had dinner, which that's not something that, other than when I've had like reoccurring guests, that I do with just normal guests. It's like, now let's break bread before we go in front of the world and act like we just met each other. And here's Nick saying, I don't like Tucker still.
So yeah, Tucker asked me a lot of weird stuff. He asked me about Charles Johnson, about Andrew Anglin, asked me about Peter Thiel. So yeah, you know, and this guy, I've heard things about this guy since the dinner. I want this guy to stay the fuck away from me. I don't know who he is, but I'll tell you one thing. He is not who he says he is. Take that to the, if anything happens to me, whatever, take that to the bank. This guy is.
Why are all of them thinking that the other right-wing influencers are trying to kill them? If anything happens, well, you know what? I don't think Tucker's going to kill you. But much like Alex Jones doing bestiality, which he doesn't, but if he did, I would not be surprised if Tucker was a murderer, let's just say. He talks a lot about spending a lot of days at his fishing cabin. What do you think happens there? You think they just fish? Why do you need a cabin for that? Really think about it. A cabin way out in the woods, soundproofed. He said that, by the way. Deeply, deeply excluded. Why would you need that? Why'd you need that? What, just so you can go with your friends and fish? Not so fast. We know why. It's to murder people. I couldn't think of a fun way to say that. Probably is what it is. I don't know. I'm just asking questions. I don't know. I'm just asking. I'm just curious. Tucker has one day to respond, and if he doesn't, I'm just going to assume that's what's the case. All right, more from Nick. You would think that Tucker, being as famous as he is, this is the stink of Tucker, okay? Tucker's so famous, he gave Nick a huge platform that boosted Nick's profile. Nick used to be, what's the thing, persona non grata? No one would touch him for good reason. And now he's tried to act like, I'm not as extreme as y'all, as I am. Try to like fake people out a little bit. And Tucker gives him this huge gift. The interview gets like 50 bazillion views. Everyone now, Nick's getting invited on everything because like, well, if Tucker did it, now I can invite him. And Tucker is such a sociopath and just weird that still Nick is like, I don't know. Even being, not that it was just Tucker, but Tucker assisting in pulling Nick out of the shadows of neo-Nazi world. Still, Nick is like, yeah, that was awesome, but you're so creepy that I think you're going to kill me still.
Not who he says he is. Total faker. I could smell it on his breath. I have never met a faker human being in my life. And it's scary because he's an actor. And I don't play that way, you know. And I question anybody that can hang out with a guy like that. It's freaky. He's a handler. He handles people. That's what he does.
They all can't help themselves. Nick just in the last segment was going, Candace Owens is on some crazy conspiracy theorist stuff. And it's like, oh, okay. And then he's like, and also Tucker's trying to kill me and he's handling people for the FBI. Do y'all all just think like this? Everyone Tucker is a very weird, two-faced, isn't really a person, seems to just kind of put on whatever character. But that's because he's a narcissistic attention seeker who doesn't have any real principles. Everything doesn't have to be a government op, just so you know. Just so everyone knows. Not everything has to be controlled by some government. And why? I always wondered this. They softly allege that. They say because Tucker's dad was associated with the CIA in some way, that the CIA has been Tucker's like an operative. But what always confuses me is, does that Does that mean like during Biden, the CIA was working Tucker? And then under Trump too? And then under, like, how long does this go back? Under Bush? I know that they are thinking, no, but the deep state's so detached that it's doing its own thing. But it's just so difficult to get my head around some of the theories they have here. Please do, as we continue through this segment, click the subscribe button. The right that is so adorable, Jaden. Aww. That is so adorable. Jaden, I love that you made that little arts and craft project. No, I really love it. That's super adorable. Yeah, do click the subscribe button. We're going to have the highest subscribe ratio ever this time. It is free. It makes a big difference. And Jade made that just for you. And what a day. I mean, the right, they're all turning on each other. That's a pretty good day to subscribe.
He's a fucking liar and a handler. He goes around telling people, I don't know anything. I don't know. Oh, I know nothing. I don't even have a phone. I am just a clueless tourist. I just travel to all these countries and, I don't trust him. And I don't care, maybe that alienates me from people in the conservative movement. I don't care. I'm not going to be a part of it. I'm not going to be a party to whatever that is. Whatever that CIA
Okay, CIA. Wait.
bullshit is, I'm not going to be a part of it.
All right. I mean, hey, I don't know if that's the reason that people shouldn't trust Tucker, but yeah, you shouldn't trust Tucker or Nick. But then just because a lot of people are going, wait, hear Nick out. Like, he's actually just making certain specific criticisms of let me just show you. This is not from, and they'll go, people defending him will go, you're always playing him in the clips where he specifically says he likes Hitler. It's like, he does a 3-hour show every day. There's like a lot of other clips. Like, wow, that's kind of the clip that I need. That's the main one I need to kind of get a vibe on you. But then they'll go, and that was like a long time ago. That was like 6 months ago during his Hitler era. He's out of that now. He's grown up. Okay, well, this was yesterday or the day before.
Appreciate it. $25. Just watch the Crowder interview. Don't find Hitler interesting? No death penalty? Scared like a pussy around people with guns. What the fuck happened? Am I watching the same guy?
So a commenter is going, what the heck, Nick? You went on this interview and you moderated yourself and you said Hitler's not interesting. Which, I mean, he's interesting, but I guess like interesting in a good way. And you're against the death penalty and you're scared around people with guns. What happened? Like, they're mad at, that's commenters mad at Nick and paying him $25 to say, I'm mad at you because you're backing off some of your positions that I liked you for. Here was Nick's response.
Major Eleanor lost.
Okay, so you're just like a stupid chud. No, I found Stalin way more interesting than Hitler. Far more interesting. You want to know why? Because Stalin fucking won. That's the difference. I like winners. And
why are you doing that gesture while you're saying this? It's very confusing.
Hitler was based. We all know that. We all know Hitler was based. But Stalin won. And Stalin ruled for 25 years. And that's awesome. It's a little more awesome. In the end, Stalin might have been killed by the Jews before he really won. But nevertheless, he won. And he created the empire. It was a communist empire. It was anti-Christian. It is what it is. But he fucking...
So just so you know, Nick's whole thing is like a white Christian nationalist. So this just shows you how flimsy someone like his views are. He's going, yeah, I mean, on my main thing of Christianity, okay, whatever. Like in this case, because he looked cool in front of big crowds or something. And that's the simplicity of some of these guys' brains, is what do they mean? Some of it could be actually approving of killing or of mass murder, but I think it's more that like they have these views, these extreme white supremacist views in the case of him and his following or whatever. But then I really think that what happens is like he's about to say that a simple mind can't understand how Stalin was cool. And a simple mind can understand how Hitler was cool. But that's easy. That's what he's about to argue. That's easy. Everyone gets that. You hearing me? This is what he's saying, okay? But like it takes a matured man to understand Stalin's appeal. Which, what are they really talking about? Yeah, maybe they actually approve of the ideology. I just don't like to believe that about other people. That is a part of it. But then the other part is just the power. What he's referring to is like he's obsessed with that aesthetic of power from a Stalin. And that triumphs even the principles he says he stands for.
And he got the bomb, and then he terrorized the planet for half of a century. So, yeah, I find him to be a fascinating figure. Hitler's very basic. Hitler is very basic edgelord, like, oh, I'm an edgelord, I like Hitler. You know, it's easy to stand Hitler. It's actually courageous to support Stalin.
So you get the point. You get the point. This is not something that's gone away. And then there was a clip of Nick, and Elon responded to it. He's a Fed. So, and then I guess Nick ratioed him. So then Elon suppressed that post. But regardless, what is this business of, I've never seen this on the left, of like Fed. And Elon jumped in the mix. So now Tucker goes, Tucker. That clip was so funny when they said, sorry for calling you a Fed. Or no, I thought you were a Fed. And then the other one goes, I thought you were a Fed. And then Elon's like, well, I thought all of y'all were Feds. Does anyone just have horrible opinions? Like just, that's it. They're just like their ideology's terrible. They're not an op, they're just a terrible ideologue. Maybe not. To use a Nick gesture.